conversation is, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Each of us has come to the space of being our own boss through a very different context and a very different lens. And so I wanted to really just open up the floor and have a conversation about like, what was your journey to entrepreneurship? Like, when did you know I had to move from it being a side hustle to the main hustle? Like, it just got to that point. I'm in my passion. I'm doing what I got to do. And what would the advice be to someone who wants to get in that game now, who's teetering, wants to make the jump, not sure, like, you know, walk me through that. Because I know my own journey, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I wanted to hear you guys' perspectives because it comes from different ways. You know, you provide a service, CEO, right? And then you provide goods out of a brick and mortar. Very different considerations. So just opening it up. Ladies first.
So, yeah, you know, converting your passion into a business, but more importantly, understanding that the talent that you have is a business. Because not everybody's talent you can actually monetize. You know what I'm saying? You know, you want to do something that you love, so it doesn't really feel like work. But really having that business acumen to convert and go from that space, and then leaving industry to now create your own economy is a shift. It's a major shift because you don't realize how much security comes in your job until you're not at your job and you now have to create
health insurance.
Right. Exactly.
Just one.
There's one.
Or that
you know.
check coming every week.
That stability of life. When you go
that
from that to you kill what you eat.
Right.
You eat what you kill.
It's a very different world. It's a very different world. So I think, you know, I had the opportunity to really kind of like build a business model and see and know that it was going to be successful and just kind of really step out on water. Because I wasn't 100% in my mind. I believed and understood. I did the due diligence, but it wasn't until I did it that I really was able to really see it. And that's the real, that space of thinking and planning and then actually doing, like that jump, it's small, but it's very big. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think that you have to be willing and committed to the idea of working your job while building your business. And the last thing is you might need to take a pay cut.
That's real.
Is
your passion? Are you willing to take a pay cut for your passion?
Do you love what you want to do enough to make less money?
I remember when I made the shift. I left my last job. That was a government job. And right after I left, the pandemic smacked, right? And I just had stepped into the space full time, and it was a lot of turmoil in terms of my professional life and what was going on. But every time that I thought about, damn, would I prefer that steady check every 2 weeks? And I thought about the level of independence and freedom that I had and the fact that I was still building something in my passion, I was like, nah, brethren, I'm good where I'm at. And that was enough motivation for me. What about you, CEO?
Okay, so for me, I definitely don't feel like I became a true entrepreneur until 2020 when I started my clothing brand.
Oh, wow.
As a DJ, even though I've been doing that full time since about 2006, I don't look at it as entrepreneurship in the sense that there's only one thing I need to do, and that's just show up, right? I put in enough work since 1996 that the calls are coming in. So it's not really a management of a business per se, right? It's a service that I'm providing. When I started my clothing brand is when I really came to an understanding of true entrepreneurship and like doing a bunch of stuff, like G said, like 8,000 things to make this work. As a DJ, it's talking to the management of a venue, or they're reaching out, negotiate rate, boom, that's it. I show up. Like as a DJ, I could do that shit in my sleep. That's nothing. Having a fashion brand, being the designer, being the owner, being responsible for marketing, because I don't have the expendable budget to hire a bunch of people to do this stuff. That's when I really got into the space of entrepreneurship. So I have it's different. My DJing has been funding me for years. So I never technically quit my day job. Even though DJing is not work for me, I never quit my day job, right? That's always been there to hold me down. Now this space as a fashion designer and having a fashion brand, that's my intro into it. So, but also to your point, and I can kind of take this back to DJing, I think it's a good idea, and what G said is like, keep your day job while working on your business. I was young enough to be naive to not do that. My background is in television and film. I worked at...
I remember.
Right. There's many networks you can think about. At the time I was at BET, and TV was kind of taking a shift into a place I really didn't like. I had my own production company at the time.
Round 7.
Round 7, yes sir. And then,
I've been there, brother. I know.
And then I got an opportunity to be a featured DJ on Rap City.
I remember that.
And I was young enough to
Hold on, let me tell you how far we go back. This man got an opportunity to do the DJ on Rap City. This man, I'm gonna find the clip for the video. Watch and see for the video when this streams. I'm gonna find the clip. It was Joel Santana, was it not?
Yes, it was.
It was Joel Santana on Rap City. My man Well was outside. Money had on a vest, no jacket, a tie, and a shirt with cufflinks and was just there doing his thing. I was so proud of him that day. I was like, my nigga, a real DJ. My nigga is a real DJ. I remember that. I've been outside with you for a very long time.
Very long time. And you put a lot of money in my pocket, so I appreciate you for that. Shout to the brothers in Making South Five. They pay well.
Yes.
But I was foolish enough to think that appearance meant I was on. And I shit you not, I did.
You ain't watch Rap City, baby?
I did Rap City. I was like, yo, I'm out of here, yo. I'm not doing this TV shit no more.
Y'all can keep this job.
I was young and dumb, and I did that shit, and I found out the hard way. Nah, that's not how that shit works. And so, I do stand, even though it allowed me to learn a lot about my business, and I had to learn fast, but I don't suggest anybody do that. What you said, G, is right. Keep your day job and figure out a way to manage building your business until it's sufficient enough for you to leave.
Biggest lesson, one sentence, biggest lesson that being an entrepreneur has taught you about yourself.
Your first business failing doesn't mean you can't be an entrepreneur.
That's a very important one for people to know.
Because you could lose and start over. But you got to know to take the lessons from the loss to build on the next.
Like a lot of people take L's.
A lot of entrepreneurs have failed. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, Blue Smoke is really honestly my 4th business. I had a lot of other ones sink that didn't work, you know what I'm saying, in various industries, but not quitting and still believing in myself and just kind of like finding that right fit, taking all those lessons from the failures and adding it to where I'm at now. And it's, 10 years and counting.
Biggest lesson entrepreneurship has taught you?
That if you do not love what you do and are not willing to do any and everything possible to succeed, then entrepreneurship is not for you.
It's important. I think for me, being probably the newest entrepreneur of the 3 of us, I have just really understood the importance of delving into your passion and being like attuned to your purpose as well, right? Like, so if you can align your work with your passion and your purpose,
yes,
everything else falls into place and it feels a lot easier.
Right.
Agreed.
It just it's not to say that there's not challenges. It's not to say that they're not, but you just look at it very, very differently. And so I think for anybody who's thinking about entrepreneurship, I wouldn't necessarily suggest you think about it in terms of money. I think you would start thinking about it in terms of purpose and in terms of passion. Because if you can align those 2 things with your work and figure out how to make those things synergize with one another, the money will come, and if it doesn't, you will still feel fulfilled.
Right.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing that people got to remember.
Yep.
That's going to do it for our main conversation for today on the Charles Coleman podcast, but it does not do it for the episode. We have coming up Rules of Engagement, everybody's favorite segment on love, sex, and relationships. It's a good one. We got the dream team. Stick around. But before you do, make sure you are liking, subscribing, sharing, and streaming the Charles Coleman podcast, your new home for Black brilliance, wherever podcasts are heard. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube that you've liked, you've registered, you subscribed, and you're sharing it with your peoples. This is your new favorite podcast. Come get with us. We outside. We in hyperspace. This is what it is.